Okay, time to complete the square. So fun. Okay, completing the square. The reason that we do it this way, the reason we care about completing the square is so we can solve an equation by taking a square root. Because I have an n squared and an 18n. So if it was just an n squared there, I'm like, oh cool, I could take a square root. But that 18n is messing with us. What a jerk. So all of this is predicated upon a certain pattern. So I'm just going to show you a few examples of this pattern. So let's say I have x plus 3 squared. Well, as I know, something squared means we're multiplying it by itself, because we don't do bad math here. So if I distribute this, I get x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9, which is x squared plus 6x plus 9. So I'm just going to carry this down so we can look at a few things. I'm going to show you, well, let's talk about this for a second. I just want to look at, okay, how could I get from that 6 to that 3? Oh, well, 6 divided by 2 is 3. And well, how do I get from the 9 to the 3? Well, 3 squared gets us 9. So it's kind of this idea of like kind of going here and then coming there. You know, I divide this by 2 and then I square that number. Now, what we care about, this is called a perfect square trinomial, because it's a perfect square because it was something squared. It's a trinomial because there are 3 terms here. So our goal is that I can also, from this perfect square trinomial, rewrite something as a squared binomial. Binomial meaning 2 terms and squared. So that means if I have x squared minus 10x plus 25, well, how could I get from this to that? Well, I just need to check if these two conditions meet. I have x. I'm going to take the middle term. If I cut it in half, I should get this number. So negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Well, if I square negative 5, I should get this number. So negative 5 squared is in fact 25. So once again, I could do a different one. Maybe like x squared plus 8x plus 16. Well, I have, remember, we're cutting it in half. So 8 divided by 2, I get the 4. And if I square 4, does it equal that number? Yes, yes it does. So x plus 4. So this is the pattern that I'm relying on. So I'm going to take something that looks like a trinomial and get it to be something squared, because then I can square root it. So that was a lot of buildup, but I just wanted you to know where it's coming from. So now you're not going, what the freak is happening? The big thing, so let's do 43. All right. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to try and create this. I can't solve this, I can't rewrite it in this way unless this number is this guy squared. And we get this guy by cutting it in half. So this whole idea that we're going off of is that b over 2 from ax squared plus bx plus c squared. So here's what I think is the easiest way to do it. I'm going to first start by getting the 17 over. And what I'm going to do is, my job is to fill this blank, because if I can make this a perfect square trinomial, I can rewrite it as the squared binomial and then get a square root. Well, how do I find the number that goes here? Oh, like that. Well, if b is negative 6, then b over 2 squared is negative 6 over 2 squared, which is the same as negative 3 squared, which is 9. So positive 9 comes here. But I can't just add 9 to one side of an equation. I have to add it to the other as well. So I know over here I'm going to get 31. But now, the whole reason that I cared about this is because I'm going to rewrite it as one of these squared binomials. Well, how did I find what number came in that parentheses? Oh, I took the middle and cut it in half. Oh, we already did that. -6 over 2 is -3. So this becomes p minus 3 squared. Now this is a situation where I'm like, oh, I have something squared. So I'm just going to square root it. So that squared cancels out, and I'm left with p minus 3 equals plus or minus square root 31. I can check to see if this root 31 breaks down, but 31 is in fact a prime number, so I don't need to worry about it. So now to get p by itself, I'm just going to add the 3. I get p equals 3 plus or minus square root 31, and that would be my answer.